All right, so I'm Karen Codling. I'm the director of the AfriCat Foundation, and it's a foundation that was set up by Okonjima, but it's such a long, complicated story. Conservation is all over the world a difficult subject. There's too many people and not enough space for wildlife, and finding that balance where wildlife benefit humans and humans, don't destroy all the environment for animals is a really difficult question. AfriCat would like to be able to generate information that supports government policy making around the strategy of protected areas. What would be the best way that Namibia can create protected areas for wildlife? Okonjima Farm was the home of the Hansen family. They came to live here in 1970. They were cattle farming, and they immediately started having the same problems that all other cattle farmers have in Namibia, which is the conflict between the livestock, the cattle, and the predators. They adopted the normal strategies of trying to get rid of those predators, take them away, kill them, whatever you need to do to take them away from your cattle. But they felt, on the one hand, it's just not right to be killing them, and it also wasn't working. You can take a predator away and another will come in. And so they were trying to change the way farmers did things and change the way they farm their cattle, change the way they let the cattle have their calves, not let them have their calves in the bush, different ways to try to solve this problem. They then wanted to have the opportunity to take those lessons learned to the farmers. And that's around the time that they created the AfriCat Foundation, to actually have a specific foundation that worked on protecting Namibia's wildlife, in particular Namibia's predators. The AfriCat Foundation spent a lot of time on human-wildlife conflict, but also became a home for a lot of predators which had been picked up from farmers who didn't want them. They would probably have all been killed otherwise, but it also was very unclear what was happening to those predators. They would be released somewhere else, and there was no way to follow up what happened. It was also increasingly hard to get permits to move them, because MEFT was also seeing that that was not a solution. And so the foundation stopped the rescue and release. So the foundation now is focusing on understanding the animals in the reserve. The reserve is a fence-protected area. Those animals, if they leave, are at risk because they will treat humans that they meet outside the same way they treat humans inside, and they will potentially get killed outside. So we have a fence to stop them leaving. But that fence obviously then creates some changes in their environment, some changes in their ecosystem, which we're now trying to understand through our research. Simultaneously, the lodge facilities were being built up at the same time as the foundation was growing. And so the foundation and the lodge have grown and developed together and always had a very symbiotic relationship. A lot of AfriCat's funding comes either directly from the lodge or from guests who come to the lodge and like the work that AfriCat is doing and then want to contribute. We have a reserve that they want to come and see, and they can see Namibian wildlife. We have the foundation, which is focusing on research in the reserve, and that information is then shared with the lodge, which shares it with the guests. The guests better understand the animals that they see. The guests get a perspective of conservation within Namibia. And it's, I think, a very successful demonstration of how tourism is contributing to conservation.
This is one of our sundown spots. We have a ridge here.
You put the dart in,
Okay.
and then you pull the trigger when you're ready.
Okay.
You hit it. Okay. It's a bit low, but it's short.
Basically, our research is really focused on understanding what is the role that enclosed protected areas can play for conservation. In what way do the fences affect their ecology and their behavior, their dispersal, so that we can understand better how enclosed protected areas can contribute to conservation. I think globally we're seeing a lot of declines in a lot of different species. So it could be argued that conservation is not working, in the sense that we're losing animals every year. We have an opportunity here and a commitment here to conserve the animals within the Okonjima Nature Reserve. And there are a lot of plans in place to make sure that we can do that. If we can contribute information and understanding and learning to national policy making, then the kind of model that we've created here can be expanded. Tourism puts a value on the animals, enables people, government, communities, families to protect the land, and it's one of the big things that we need in Namibia is protected land for wildlife. To be able to live amongst the animals, like in this kind of harmony, we're all neighbors of each other, we just coexist, they don't mind us, we don't mind them. That is a very special opportunity that most people in the world don't get to have. I mean, I have them outside my house, they're my neighbors.